And who are you? What do you think you're doing?
Hi, my name's Daryl Boone. I was looking for the restroom.
Ah, yes. They told me you'd be coming. I'm Greta Snyder, housekeeper at the castle. I'm sorry, but you can't come in here. Nobody can come into the old wing of the castle without authorization.
I see. I suppose I'm going to have to find the toilet somewhere else then.
If you'll excuse me.
A ladder going down inside the well. Very interesting.
Please, don't open it. The well is dry, and I'll get the blame if anyone falls in. Do me the favor and stay away.
I'm not going to rummage through it unless there's something worth taking. There's some litter inside. The shelves are extremely well stocked. I'd have expected better quality wines in a place like this. It's an old wooden barrel. It's locked. I need a key to get in. This sewing machine looks as though it's been busy. Looks like one of Anderson's. The shirt's ripped. I wonder how that happened. It's burnt. It's a new industrial washing machine. This washing machine looks as though it were made before the war. I knew it would come in useful sooner or later.
Could you give me just a bit more of your time, Judy?
All right. What is it?
I don't understand what's so special about the spooky old wing. What's in there that's so untouchable?
If you enjoy looking at old junk, furniture full of woodworm and dusty paintings, you should go and speak to my husband straight away to persuade him to let you have a look. The old wing is chock full with all that stuff, but if you aren't into antiques at all, like me, forget the place. There's nothing else there apart from old rubbish.
Excuse me, Judy, if I'm being indiscreet, but what type of guys does Carla go around with? Seeing that she confides in you, I hope you don't mind if...
Victoria, I've got the feeling that you haven't really understood the relationship between me and Carla. It doesn't interest me who she goes around with. The girl just comes to me for strategic advice. Do you understand what I'm saying? She wants to settle down, marry a rich man, one of those who come to the receptions here. Someone's got to tell her how to trap her man, haven't they?
Could you tell me something about yourself? You married an important man, you live in a palace. How does it feel to lead a life like that?
There are no roses without thorns, dear. There are pros and cons, good moments, bad moments. One of the positive aspects is definitely the fact that lots of people die with envy just to look at me, and that's extremely pleasant.
You really don't have to answer if you don't want to, but what's it like being Mr. Anderson's wife?
Seeing as you've been so kind as to give me the opportunity not to answer, I think I'll opt for not answering. You know, gossip about my life and that of my husband is something that I really don't like.
What exactly did Mr. Anderson do before coming here?
Management. He was in the sales department of the multinational. Listen, if you really want to know something about my husband, why don't you go and ask him? I'm his wife, not his secretary.
What do you think of Carla Hoffman?
Oh well, she's a nice girl, always taken up with this complicated love life. It's not a...
What can you tell me about Mr. Eistermeyer?
Have you seen him? He's like one of those precious old antique pieces of his. And to think there are men as old as him who are still really fascinating. Oh, yes, it's a real shame.
Just one question about Mr. Hernandez. How would you define him?
Egocentric,
Qualities, I suppose. Why? What do you look for?
the shoes.
What do you think of Mrs. Snyder?
I really prefer not to think about her. Forget about Greta. She's just a busybody.
You know, Judy, I was wondering what you think of Mr. Klausman.
What? You're interested in our old cook? Well, I'd say he usually keeps out of trouble as long as he sticks to his cooking, that is.
Something incredible happened this morning. The greenhouse. It exploded.
Oh yes, can't think what it was. Anyway, I'm sure that even as we speak, the cause has already been discovered. And when all's said and done, these things happen.
What's your opinion of the multinational?
Can I not answer?
Why?
Because there's something not quite right with those people. I don't like them and I'd prefer not to talk about them. Once I had dinner with one of their senior directors. He told me that
The drawer is full of napkins. Another old painting. I'm sure Daryl will know about it. Huh. Very romantic, I'm sure. I'll take it with me for the time being. Poor wolf. I don't understand what fun there can be in hunting. Must have been an enormous stag when it was alive. The knives and forks have been carefully polished. This knife isn't sharp, but it might come in useful. Someone will get into trouble with the housekeeper if I leave it open.
What good is it to me? A bottle of cleaning fluid. I'm not going to win any prizes for guessing that this must be the cook. Hi, my name's Daryl Boone. I just got here today.
I haven't seen you before, have I? I'm Stephen Klausman, and this is my kitchen. You did well to pass by. It's always nice when a new face drops in to say hello.
So, have you been working here long?
Yup, been here for 8 years. Not bad for someone who used to be changing a port every 2 weeks, eh?
Interesting. An ex-sailor?
And I'd still be at sea if it hadn't been for that damn oil tanker. God, what memories. Look, it's better if I get back to the pots and pans.
What made you leave the sea?
It happened 10 years ago. The shipping company had just sold up to some Norwegian blokes. People who were wanting to set themselves up in low-cost oil. God, the ship was years old, so we took her to the yard to empty the tanker and give her a complete refit. We had to scrape off a bit of rust and oil up the authorities well to get all our papers in order. I'd just gone below deck. We weren't even a mile from port. But when Conrad came to me, the Aurelius was already on fire.
What do you mean?
It might have been an accident. It might not. In any case, it ended up a floating inferno. We could have all been burned alive. From that day on, I've never been able to board a ship.
What do you think of Mrs. Snyder?
Oh, we understand each other all right. I stay in the kitchen, and she keeps out of my way.
She's a bit tough, huh?
No. As soon as she arrived, Greta made me shave my beard off. Greta wants me to wash the floors 3 times a day. Greta put the sailor under embargo. If Anderson had taken on Adolf Hitler, we all would have been better off.
What can you tell me about your gardener?
What do you mean, gardener? Landscape architect, if you please. You'll be in trouble if you call him gardener. Look, I'm telling you, he's got a lot of talent, but God, he's always complaining. He doesn't like this, and he doesn't like that. You ask him to do something, and it'll be done when he wants to, and not before.
I see Henry, the old caretaker, is well past retirement age. What's he like?
Henry? You don't find men like him around anymore, believe me. He was born in the castle, do you know that? And he's never moved. Not even during the last German attack. If you want to know anything about this place, he's seen it all.
Is the old caretaker still on the multinational's payroll? Or is he,
He's never stopped working, if that's what you want to know.
And what's he do?
He keeps up the maintenance of the castle, poor old sod. Problem is, he's getting old, and I'm getting tired of telling him to retire. Henry, when are you going to retire? I says to him. Will he listen to me? Will he hell?
What about that young maid? What's she like?
She's a good girl, Carla. Bit slow, it's true, but she's a good worker.
I can't imagine Carlos talked to him about her private life. I'll leave it. So, Chef, what can you tell me about this Anderson guy?
Nothing to say, really. The multinationals restored the castle to perfection, and now it's got its Prince Charming, too.
How did Anderson end up here, anyway?
You can see through his stories a mile off. You're not telling me he left London and his life of luxury just to come here and torment us, poor sods. He didn't toe the line, that's for sure.
The supervisor's got himself a nice little wife, huh?
I'd never have had the guts to marry a woman like that. God, she's a nightmare.
What the hell was going on in the greenhouse this morning?
The multinational will have had something to do with it. That's scientists for you. Only they know what they are up to.
If I promise not to tell, will you show me around the old wing of the castle?
God, who'd want to go in there? It's worse than a museum.
Have you got anything to tell me about the multinational?
They found a way of making money. Pharmacists from hell. It's a bit like saying, if you want to feel well, you're going to have to pay for it.